and welcome to the Daily Draw. We've got a special treat for Pokemon fans today, just something to get you over the slump of midweek. We've already done Pokemon, we've done a few Pokemon characters, but today we've got the lovely, adorable Eevee. So grab your pencils and let's get drawing. So here's what we're going to be drawing today. I have got, Henry has lent me his Eevee toy, which, because I asked him how to pronounce it, Eevee, so I know now. So that's his toy. I'm going to put that up here. You can watch me as I do it. Here's our Eevee, and here's the simple shapes that we're going to start with. So how will we do it? How are we going to go from here to here? Well, we're going to start with those very simple shapes. We're going to build it up and add the details and then finish with the very final details. So let's get started. I will move this out of the way and we're going to start with those simple shapes. Every drawing begins with simple shapes. So I'm doing it here on my watercolour pad because I'm going to do it with watercolour pencils. And you can get these, the pads, the pencils, the brushes, everything is all in a set from our website. It's called the Daily Draw Pack and it's on our website. But if you haven't got all this and all you've got is a bit of paper and maybe a couple of colouring pencils, that's fine. You stick with that. If you've got your watercolour paper, use it and I'll show you how to paint Eevee as the second step. I'm going to start here with a line, just a nice simple line, and then I'm going to take this. And your temptation is to go in like a half circle, but it isn't. It really isn't. It is two. It's quite straight lines down there to get that. And then from there, then we do the circle. Do you see that? So then we curve it at the bottom. So 1, 2, and then curved. Right, let's come out here now. I'm going to go just a little bit up and out there, and the same here, although it's not exactly the same. It's the same and then down to there, and then again I'm going to curve that. And I'm going to bring it round to a point, which is going to be about there. So that if that's halfway, I'm going to come a little bit to the side, and that's going to come into a point there. This one here, it's the same. Just going to bring it up a bit, and then curve it down. There we go. Simple. So we've got our Eevee started. So let's go now. Coming down here, not quite a centimetre, so between the top there and that line, I'm going to bring a straight line out. And from there, I'm going to go round. I'm going to finish up here, like this. And there, and then up to there, and we've got a triangle. So take it up as a triangle. And the final bit at this stage is here. If I go down from there to there, I'm going to take out one line, and from there, that should just join there actually. I'm going to do 2 lines, and then I'm going to join that at the bottom, and that is our starter shapes. Okay, let's begin to build it up now. So I'm going to start here by putting these bits of fur. Let's see where we're going to take them up to. Probably about there. So if I go like that, there and there, I've got a little line coming down there, a couple there. And then from there we've got, it kind of comes across, down. So we're putting these little, essentially like little furry bits in and down there. And we've got another bit there. Okay, so that's the top. Don't worry if it doesn't look exactly the same. It is just bits of fur. It doesn't really matter. As long as you've got that effect there. Now, I can rub that starter line out there. So let's go in with the ears. I'm going to go up here, give myself a little dot. That's going to help me because that's going to give me something to aim for. And then keeping my pencil nice and loose, I'm going to go for a curve. And then here the same. Curve up, and then one down, and there. So we've got that. Now this side, on this side, it's much smaller. So I'm going to come in to about there, and go round, and there, and out. So we've got this coming in. Okay, this we're going to really keep the same. I might bring it in so it's slightly more of a curve, just because I went out possibly a bit too much there. We've got a couple of little lines coming down, and then what we're doing here is just adding in these little furry bits. Can you see there? Just adding in. I can take that line out there. And I can take that line out there. It's done its job. It helped us to build it. So there, we've got that, and I've got a little line there and a couple of lines there. So looking at the fur here, you can see it goes round, just one, down to that point with a couple of little bits. We'll put these in brown later. And coming up like that. And here, the tip of the tail, can you see? What we want to do is round it off. So we've got it going up and then a second one there. And then these lines going in. One. It's like we're putting in these little V's. 2, 3, like that, joining together to create the end of the tail. Right, let's go with this shape now. Have a look. Can you see here? So all the red marks on here we're going to rub out. They were just to help us get the shapes in. And now that we've got these in, so if you can see that line is going to come down like this, and then I'll put a line there. Then we'll give her, if I rub that out, I'm going to rub that out. I've got that leg. And then I'm going to go 1, 2. That's the little toes. And here we'll put that back leg in. There. And the same at the side. We're going to go 1, 2. Rub the shape out. And just a little bit there to sort of suggest the leg behind. And that's us done this stage. So now we are ready. If you pause there and catch up, and then we will pop in all the eyes, the nose and the mouth, and we'll be ready to paint. So now we want to get in these big eyes. You can see that this is like a kind of Japanese manga type eyes here, and I'm going to go in with this. Start with some straight lines there. 1, and there's a big gap. If you look, there's a big gap between them. 2, and then we've got that curve up at the top, down, and a curve at the bottom. So they're not semicircles, it's like lines, curve. That one's going kind of out, and they're not symmetrical either. I always think they never make eyes easy on these things. So that's them in about the right place. And then, and I've noticed this from Henry's teddy as well, if I bring it in. Let's see if she can, Eevee. So you can see, oh, I've gone too far up. Can you see with the eyes? We've got this big pupil, sort of highlight in there. So if I go down there with the highlight on both sides and put that in, that's the highlight. This is the pupil. You don't need to colour it black now because we're going to do it with our pencils later. So that's 1, 2, and then pop in the little nose, and then this shape for the mouth, which kind of goes up and there. And that is our Eevee finished, ready to paint. So I'm going to just use some 2 colours here. I've got a brown and a yellow and a black, and they're all from our watercolour pencil set there. So let me just quickly show you how these work. If I were to colour brown with a colouring pencil, I'm going to get that kind of effect. But look what happens with the watercolour pencils. As soon as I touch my wet brush, it turns it to paint. They are magic. It's a brilliant way to paint, and they're all available on our website. Don't worry if you're sitting there with your crayons, you paint along with whatever you can get hold of today. Now I'm going to put the black down, take up my brown, and what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go round all of the outline there, and I'm pressing quite hard. So you can see when I draw really softly. I really don't press hard at all. Often we need to rub out the lines. You saw that, it was rubbing out lots of lines. So I'm going to come in there like that and around and then up. And there. But when I'm pressing hard, it's because I'm really wanting to get the pigment from this pencil onto the paper so that I get this nice dark brown. And I'm going to do the same here inside the eyes. But I'm not going to do the nose or the mouth yet because we'll come on to those right at the end. But what I am going to do, can you see how hard I press there? Here I'm just pressing very lightly, and that is because I want, can you see the difference? The difference between the ears and the face? By pressing lightly, it's going to be really, really light. So I'll be able to get that light colour in there. Now, I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to put a little bit around the edge there, and then the rest here, I'm going to go super light all the way around to there. And here, what I'm going to do now is take my brush, nice and clean. I'm going to go into that bit of yellow, trying to avoid that brown. If you touch the brown, it'll just bring a bit of the brown into the yellow. It's not a disaster. And the harder you press, the more yellow you'll get. So you can see I've gone quite a bit harder there and softer there to show you that it can be quite light. Okay, and I'll do the same here. And there as well, I added in just a little bit of red to get a slightly different colour, almost like a peachy colour. So it depends what you want. So if I go, I'll show you. If you want it to be peachy, you can add a touch of red. Can you see what that it makes? It's very subtle, just makes a little bit of difference. And right, the next thing I'm going to do is take my brush. I'm going to turn the ears. Both ears there. And these bits here around the eyes. And I'll just leave that to dry for a minute before I come in to do the rest of the face. What I'm going to do now is the legs. Now the back legs we want to be darker. Can you see there? They're darker, so I'm going to come in like this with my back legs. I'll turn the sides first. Clean my brush. You see, I'm just putting it on my hand to make sure I get lots of the water off. Then I'm bringing in the brown so that the legs are paler. And now I'm going to go in to the face and I'm going to turn this. You see? So we get this kind of colour. Very different, isn't it, from that brown? And that's pure, even though it was the same pencil, so it was the same paint, and it was just about putting in a lot less of the paint pigment on the paper. I love these paints. If you've done the daily draws before, you know that they are absolutely the most mess-free way of painting. No big clear up jobs afterwards. No spillage on the carpets. You might be able to detect there that I am a mother and I do have 4 children and I have had plenty of paint spilled over the years. There we go, I'm going to go around those ears. So the only bit we've got left here now is this tail, and I want that to be a little bit darker. So what I'm going to do, just put a bit more paint on. There we go. Can you see the difference? It's not quite as dark as the ears, but it is definitely darker than her face. Okay, so that's all the big painting in. What we need to do now is pop in the eyes. I am not going to turn this to paint, I'm just going to colour those with my black. And I'll put in the little nose with my brown. a little mouth, and you could pop in a couple of little eyebrows too. And the last thing I would do is just to go around here with my brown as well, just so that that really sticks out, that yellow. And you can do the same on the tail, which I forgot to do over there, but there we go. And that is your Eevee. You could just, if you wanted to go around those eyes so that they really jump out, but you need to keep that shape at the top white, that highlight. And there is Eevee. Hope that you really enjoyed that. I did. I thought it was really lovely. It was a lovely one to do. Elizabeth is going to be here tomorrow for Draw with the Grandparents, so make sure that you tell grannies, granddads, aunties, uncles, whoever, and join together. It's so hard at the moment not being able to see each other, but you can join together and draw together. You could do it on WhatsApp. You could do it on Zoom, on FaceTime, anything. But tell Granny to grab her pencil. And Elizabeth is going to be drawing a very special picture tomorrow. This has been Elizabeth's special request. She's been desperate to do this. So it's from the film Moana, and I can't pronounce the character, but I think it's Poa. Elizabeth's kind of... Poa? Elizabeth, you say it then.
Pua.
Pua. We're going to be doing Pua tomorrow from the film Moana. So grannies, if you don't know who that is, which I didn't, you can look it up. But Elizabeth will be back. She'll take you through it step by step. We will see you then.